As the U.S. mourns the loss of conservative legend Charlie Kirk, President Trump is looking back on the lasting legacy that Kirk left with young voters.
Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense.
Our next guest once spoke at a Turning Point event and said Charlie was his mentor, writing in an op-ed, "I cannot bring back his voice, but I can honor him by carrying forward his lessons, fighting for education, and refusing to give up on the mission he built." High school senior Gregory Likoff joins us now. Gregory, I wish we were speaking under different circumstances. What made Charlie so special?
Yeah, well, if you look at it, he's the only one who truly cared about students my age and really valued us whether we can vote or not. He went to those college campuses, he went to those high schools, established Turning Point USA clubs, and he actually got students to finally become engaged. You know, a generation that was once known as the liberal progressive generation turned into the generation that is now a conservative, or hopefully will become a conservative stronghold. And it was all because of Charlie Kirk and his influence on millions of students, including me.
When this horrific tragedy occurred, you wrote me yesterday saying you wanted to come on here and talk about what Charlie Kirk meant to you. So describe for the audience the influence he has had on your life.
Yeah, so let me just tell you a quick story, just a personal story of mine. So for 16 years, I had undiagnosed ADHD, and what that meant for me was that as I was a failing student, I couldn't read, I couldn't write, and only last year did I finally get diagnosed, and my entire life changed. I found my interest with politics, and that's when I started listening to people like Charlie Kirk. His show in particular showed me that debate matters, that things that, you know, we don't see in our regular political world actually matter. And that's what he shows. Whether you disagree with Charlie Kirk, whether you agree with Charlie Kirk, he would debate you. And even if he wins, whether he doesn't win the debate, that's not the point. The point is to have a civilized conversation, and that's what we're missing here. And that's what he taught me is the most important aspect of everything. And, you know, there's no other conservative who cares that much about children, about students, as much as he did. Because to be honest, for many, many decades, students were considered progressives, as I said before. So they were kind of a voting class that was not really needing to be represented because there would be no students that would be voting for red candidates. Charlie changed that, and with that impact, it's going to last decades.
Let's take a minute to listen to Charlie in his own words over the course of his very influential political career, encouraging young people just like you. Listen to this here.
Our generation and our belief system will be paving the way for millennials for decades to come.
As soon as you make the decision that I am going to boldly speak my mind courageously, whether I'm with friends or family or as I am in private and public, that is the most freeing thing we can give our students. I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
As a young man pursuing a marriage, I just want to ask if you had any advice on how I can pursue and maintain a God-centered marriage.
God must always come first from your spiritual disciplines. Honor the Sabbaths and turn off your phone for 1 day a week.
There is a not-so-silent majority now on college campuses of students that identify with a more conservative libertarian viewpoint. We are packing up these lecture halls. Our chapters are growing at a record rate. How I got my political start, one of my first things of activism is when they doubled the price of cookies at Wheeling High School. I said, this is unconscionable, this is unwarranted, and we need a rebellion. Conservatives are dominating in new media. We're dominating in podcasting. We're dominating on TikTok. We're dominating on social media, because we are a movement that believes in freedom of speech and that is able to have different ideas but build coalitional type politics.
Another great warrior right here, right, Ivanka? You are a great warrior. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
He had so much life, so much drive, so much strength in his convictions, and so much, Gregory, left to give. What stood out to you?
You know, out of everything, he was always the most humble person. He never took anything for himself. And I think that's what really taught me who I want to be and how I want to represent myself in front of other people. I want to be as humble, as caring for other people as Charlie Kirk was, because for example, he didn't have to offer me a spot to speak at a Turning Point USA event. He didn't have to even listen to me take a photo after speaking 15 hours straight on the stage, but he still did. And it's because he truly cares about students like me. He truly cares about our generation, and there's no one else that compares to the amount of care that he has. So really, that's what shocks me, is that we can have such a polarized world right now where someone so caring, even if they disagree with their beliefs, is now dead for no good reason.
10 seconds. How will you carry on his legacy?
I will carry on his legacy by making sure that his education reform is carried on. I think that's very important. I think reform in our K through 12 and upper education is extremely important. And
Gregory Lyakoff, thanks for reaching out to me. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming in here
Gregory.
today.
Thank you so
and
much.
sharing your important thoughts on this sad, sad morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.